Okay, so welcome to another video. I've been very lackluster on posting. We've had a lot of things going on around the business, so I kind of have to prioritize things on when I can do what. But hopefully, starting June, I get to be way more consistent across the board with everything because I actually have someone helping me with both Detail Groove and the business itself. So hopefully, this month, starting June, June 1st, I'll be way more consistent with podcasts, YouTube videos, and everything else that I do with Detail Group. So I asked a question a while back, just a Q&A, so I'll be answering some questions. First and foremost, a question I always get is, what do you do when the weather is unfavorable? If you follow me here, the entire past 3 weeks, it's basically been raining the entire time. Like literally, like almost a whole week, we had to not work out mobile jobs because it's probably blown out. You can't even tell. It was basically rained out the entire time. So when rain happens, right, you just have to be able to adapt to your situation, right? Because some areas are gonna get rain a lot. Some areas are gonna have nasty winters. Some areas it's gonna be too hot to work in Arizona, Texas, where it's like it is unhealthy to be outside in 107 degrees for like 10 hours straight. So depending on your situation, the state, the city, the type of weather that you get, you have to adjust accordingly. You know it's gonna rain X amount of times. There's like a season of rain or a season of winter or a season of heat. So if you every year, you're like, oh man, what do I do with this rain? It's gonna happen every time. So you have to plan accordingly. So for us, we do a lot of mobile jobs and a lot of interiors, but due to the amount of rain, we're actually gonna start trying to get more vehicles to come over here. We have a few little ways to do that, but that'll be another video. But for us, we can bring it to the shop. For you, if you have a home garage, can you go in there? Can you ask your mobile customers, can you make space in the garage that I can work out of? You just have to be able to adapt to the situation. Like winter, heat, rain, hurricanes, droughts, like all these things will affect your area. Each state, each city will be a little bit different. So you have to be like, okay, look, we know that we get a drought every year, or we get terrible hurricanes, or whatever the case may be. You have to be able to plan ahead. Usually, of course, if a hurricane just comes out of nowhere, or Texas, that winter storm, all right. But other than that, you basically know the type of weather that you get and like how seasonal it is, and just plan accordingly. Get a little creative. Okay, so next question here is, do clay bars make fine scratches on the paint? So yes, they do. We can move over here. So yes, they do. For instance, we have three. We use clay mitts here. We have 3 of them. They're all the fine grade. And with this one, does it scratch the vehicle? Not so much scratch, but I'd say more mar, and it's dependent on how soft or hard the clear coat is. Do you have to polish every time you clay bar or do any type of clay treatment? It's ideal because you will, to some level, be putting some level of marring into the vehicle. But again, if the customer's paying for it, you can. If they don't, what can you do about it? Most on our washing waxes, it's just wash, clay, and wax. We don't polish. So in an ideal world, do you want to polish? You do want to polish every car if you could. But the reality is you do what the customer pays for. And if you're not paying for it, or you have a service that just is a wash and wax without the polishing, that's on you. So if you want to polish, get them to pay. If they don't, just a wash and wax. But I'm telling you, no customers tell about the more, like they can't tell. They just can't. If they don't even complain about the bunch of sores and scratches they have in their paint right now, what makes you think they're gonna notice a little bit of marring? They're not. Next question is, would you do a basic wash without a water tank or access to a water source? So I used to do rinseless literally all the time. I would take my 5-gallon bucket, I'd fill it up with water, put a lid on it, go to the customer's location, and just wash vehicles. Like, that's it. Now, sometimes it would be a bit much where I'm like, dang, I'd really like to rinse this off. But if that wasn't an option, you just continue with the wash, right? You have to work with what you have. Like, I never took a pressure washer on mobile jobs. Like, I always asked for water access for customers' water at their home location. So you have to work with what you have. If you want to do a rinseless, we'll do a rinseless, right? I would not do a waterless. It takes a lot more towels. I'm just not a fan of waterless. I would 100% go with a rinseless wash if you don't have access to water. But yeah, I've done it plenty of times. There's the Gary Dean wash method. You can use the leftover water from the wash to clean the wheels. It's not effective. It's not ideal. Like, as far as time efficiency, but if that's what you can do to get the job done, that's what you do then. Next question is, how did you get into detailing, and did you see yourself doing this as a long-term business? Since I was like 14, I've always wanted a business, but I never really, well, I was 14, so what could I do at that time? So I knew I always wanted to start a business. I liked detailing at the time, back when I had my car, my Matrix XRS. And I was like, oh, I can start a business. So that's what started it. Am I passionate about detailing? Like, do I go home on the weekends and like clean cars just because I like it? No. Would I say like I'm absolutely passionate about detailing? Do I, you know, think about detailing and think about brushes and polishes and pads and polishing paint? No. What I'm more passionate about is building a business, or making sure that the people I work with are like happy and like they like what we're doing, and that the customers are getting the best service and the best experience. So as far as like me specifically like being in love with detailing, no, but I want to make sure that the customers get the absolute best experience, best results. I want to make sure everyone that works with us is happy and like loves where or at least enjoys where they're working at. And I want to build a business. So that's that. And I mean, some people like give me flack for that, but you don't have to love what I don't absolutely love scrubbing tires. Like I don't love polishing paint for 10 hours, but I love the business part of it. I love growing it. I love making sure the customers are happy. So that's what I love more than the actual detailing itself. Question is, someone is copying my business, my whole business, what do I do? All right, please answer me this question. What is anything special about your business versus literally 100% of every other detailing business? No, I can guarantee you no one is copying your work. It's probably more so that you are looking at other detailers in your area and you're finding commonalities between each other. But each detailer does just about the same thing. What is someone copying you? What, that they're posting before and afters, the cars, like what are they doing? Now if they're like copying photos and uploading it as their own, okay, I'll give you that. But as far as like they're writing the same text, they're posting the same photos, the same type of photos. Dude, everyone does the same thing. Like I do the same thing as, not the same, but I'm saying like we all are gonna do the same thing. Photos, captions, like